the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Shayla, great rising. Maybe we should add a greeting while we're reading through the meditation book. A greeting and a goodbye word. It's like both. Uncle JB, grand rising. I've seen a couple people use it a few times here. Okay. Get my page numbers right before I start, y'all. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking. I forgot. All right, beautiful people. Happy Monday. It is April the 18th, 2022. Day 85 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4 year consecutive count. Day 1103. Today, y'all, we are going to start the book of Setian. I think that's how you say it. Seth and Hes, son of Jehovah. First God of the first cycle of the earth after man's creation. After we read that, we're going to pick up where we left off in the meditation book a few days ago on page 46. In the OAHSPE, we started on page 14 today. All right. Let's get started here. You know what? Let me grab one thing. Hold on. All right, let's get my highlighters, y'all. All right, I got it. Auntie, grand rising, grand rising. All right, may y'all continue to lead us and guide us into all truth. Let's get started. Okay, book of Setian, son of Jehovah, first God of the first cycle of the earth after man's creation. Chapter 1. In the beginning of the inhabitation of the earth, the angels of heaven ascended in Horrid, a heavenly plateau resting on the earth. And the archangel Setian was the wisest of them all, and he said unto them, Behold, we have come from far off heavens. By the voice of Jehovah came we to partake of the glory of the red star, the earth. Jehovah said unto us, Come ye and enjoy the new world I have created. Partake ye all of the fruits thereof, save of the tree of knowledge, which is the fountain of life. Yesterday, I was trying to figure that out. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Okay, hold on. It's not a separate tree. It is the same tree. Hold on. Okay, so the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the tree of life. Okay. I'll read that over. Behold, we have come from far off heavens. By the voice of Jehovah came we to partake of the glory of the red star, the earth. Jehovah said unto us, Come ye and enjoy the new world I have created. Partake ye of all the fruits thereof, save of the tree of knowledge, which is the fountain of life. Partake ye not of this, lest ye die. But the voice of the earth spake unto us, saying, Partake ye, for indeed mine is the tree of everlasting life. And many obeyed not the voice of the Father, and are now bound by the tie of life, which is in the blood. Oh. Keep reading. And the voice of Jehovah came to me, saying, Setian, my son, behold, I gave into thy charge in my ethereal heavens millions of angels, and thou hast brought them to the earth, and they are fallen from their high estate. Go thou, deliver them. And I said, What shall I do? And Jehovah said, Bring thy angel host to Horrid, for there will I crown thee God of these heavens and earth, for the redemption of angels and mortals. And it shall be a new heavenly kingdom from this time forth to the end of the world. For it is the time of the ark of Wan, and I will bring from Ethera my high-raised goddess, Etizia, Etizia. I think it's Etizia. Etisyaa. Okay. And it shall be a new heavenly kingdom from this time forth to the end of the world. For it is the time of the ark of Wan, W-A-N. And I will bring from Ethera my high-raised goddess Etizia, chief factor of Harmuts. And she shall crown thee in my name, God of heaven and earth. God said, when I had thus spoken in Horeb before the angels of heaven, a great light like a sun was seen descending from the firmament above. And I commanded my Esinars, as the spirits, my Esinars to chant in praise of the Father and his work. Meanwhile, I had the angels of Horeb numbered, and there were of them 27,600,000. And then it has a reference number 1 after 1,000, and it says 27,600,000. All subsequent similar changes are not footnoted. See editor's note number 1. Okay, go back up. Meanwhile, I had the angels of Horeb numbered, and there were of them 27,600,000, and these were the same who were on the excursion in my charge when the voice of Jehovah commanded us to visit the earth. The light above us descended fast toward us like a ship of fire. It came nearer and nearer till we saw that it was wide far than the place of Horeb and all my angel hosts. And it came to pass that when the great light had descended to the plateau of Horeb, there came forth out of the light 1,000,000 archangels from the ark of Wan in the host of Ajib, in the orbit of Phosang in Ethera, and they bore regalia and crowns from the Orion chief of Harmuts. Foremost of the archangels was Etizia, and her brother Yatiahaga, commissioners from the Etherian heaven. When they came near me, Etizia gave a sign of Jehovah's name, greeting, halting, and saying, all hail in Jehovah's name, and in the love of Harmut's Orion chief, we come to greet thee, first God of the lower heaven, belonging to the corporal earth. I said, all hail, O emissaries of Harmut's, chief of Orion worlds. Come, O Tizia, and thy brother in all this host. Come, honor my throne in great Jehovah's name. The archangels then came forward, saluting, and Etizia said, in thy name, O Jehovah, I found here a throne. And she caused to rise the form and substance thereof, and she ascended thereon, and Yatiahaga with her. And the other archangels formed a crescent in front of the throne, all of them bearing crowns or diadems, but they stood upright. And now the angels of the host of God took their places, that they might witness the testimony of Jehovah's commission. But the lights from the columns of fire, brilliant in all colors and shades and tints, baffled many of them from seeing plainly. When all things were in readiness, yes, babe.
You know, bed.
It's upstairs, I think. Here, what's my say lips? I ain't got my comments with me. It's upstairs. Go look behind my chair.
I did.
Well, I thought I plugged it in. Go look. Unless one of your brethren took it. Robin, shalom. Mom, shalom, shalom. Alicia, hey girl, hey. When all things were in readiness, Etizia, standing erect and brilliant like a star, raised her right hand, saying, Jehovah, all-wise and powerful, in thy name, this thy son, God, I crown. From the Orion chief, Harmuts, raised to the rank of God, and by thee, O Jehovah, ordained. Henceforth, to be known forever in the emancipated heavens as thy son. Peace, wisdom, love, power. And now with her left hand she raised the high crown, so that all might see and bear witness, and giving the sign again of Jehovah's name above the crown, where from a flame of light shot forth brilliantly. Thereupon she placed the crown on God's head, saying, Arise, O my son, thou son of Jehovah. Instantly there arose from the millions of souls one universal shout, All hail, O son of Jehovah. And God rose up, having the crown on his head, and the people cheered him lustily, for he was well beloved. It told him. Okay, so at the beginning, now understand. So when it was labeling out the ranks earlier, the other day, I forget exactly what part, but I think it was this last book, the Book of Jehovah, towards the front. It was labeling out the ranks, and those who are called God, those are like the presidents of that particular planet. Like the God of this earth is the chief in command, not the head chief, right? Which is the all, or the source of all, the great spirit, not him. But those who have the title God is also titled sons, right? So they're interchangeable. Okay, I get it now. Okay, I was holding my comment from the beginning from yesterday until I read a little bit more. Okay, I read this again. And now with her left hand she raised high the crown, so that all might see and bear witness, and giving the sign again of Jehovah's name above the crown, wherefrom a flame of light shot forth brilliantly. Thereupon she placed the crown on God's head, saying, Arise, O my son, thou son of Jehovah. Instantly there arose from the millions of souls one universal shout, All hail, O son of Jehovah. And God rose up, having the crown on his head, and the people cheered him lustily, for he was well beloved. Etizai said, Bring forth thy 5 chief lords, that I may crown them also. God then caused the 5 chief lords, whom he had selected, to sit at the foot of the throne. Again Etizai raised her right hand, saying, O Jehovah Almighty, from whom all glories emanate, in thy name these thy sons I crown, lords of the earth and of the waters of the earth, from the Orion chief Harmuts. By my commission do I raise them to the rank of lords, for kingdoms of heaven, peace, wisdom, love, power. Then Etizai took the crowns which were handed her by the other archangels, and placed them on the heads of the lords, saying, Arise, O my lords, and be ye lords of Jehovah for his glory, and be ye the lords of God, having dominion over the earth and the waters of the earth, and love, wisdom, and power. Amen. The lords rose up, having on their heads the crown of lords, and again the multitude saluted with great cheering. When the applause ceased, Etizai said, My God and my lords, now give the sign of Jehovah's name, that his glory may be fulfilled, for this was the oath of office. And for the oath of office, it has a reference, letter A. And since we found out that the reference is at the end of the chapter, I already put a little sticky here. Zoe, that's Wabu. And A says, the sign is the circle twice cut. For further information, see chapter Imithawakava, Book of Safa, edition 1882. Okay. And God and the lords saluted Jehovah before the hosts of heaven, and they stood apart a little distance. And Etizai said, Behold, all the light Jehovah encompassed me. My voice shall be his voice. By the glory of faith in him am I one with the Father. And a fleece of golden hue descended from above and encompassed Etizai around about, and she was like a central star with rays of light emanating. She was entranced by Jehovah. Through her the Creator spake, saying, My son, even God, I brought thee forth out of torpor, quickened into life everlasting. By faith I inspired thee to do whatsoever thou hast done. Faith gave I unto thee, as the tree whereon all perfection is the fruit. By that faith within man, that nurtureth the I am within himself unto perfection, becometh he my son, doing by virtue of my presence. According to thy wisdom and love have I given thee strength, and by thy strength raised thee up. Behold, this day have I given thee a kingdom in atmosphere, and made thee God before all the kingdoms of heaven. This place shall be thy place, and mine also. Here shalt thou dispense wisdom and laws, and appoint officers in my name, and by virtue of my power. And let me just pause, because I'm going to go back and read this again. Okay, so now I'm bringing in all that I've learned from reading the scriptures and some of the other books and everything, and it seems like bits and pieces have been scattered. Clearly, the main one that comes out is the Bible, and some of the different things to where the Bible makes who's there just one person, right? They take all these titles and they make that into one God, right? And but all the other books and all the other places, it seems that these were actually different titles for different individuals. Pull some of that out, if you want to call them individuals, right? And it seems that the Bible is also merging heaven and earth, or not all of it, but they're merging spirits with flesh, making them seem like they're like corporal when they're really angels or spirits or messengers, whatever you want to call them. So that's what I'm thinking when I'm going through this. Let me go back up. Let me go back up when the Creator began to speak through Etizii. I hope I'm saying her name right. Okay, there you go. Don't burst that, please. Okay. And God, I'm going back up to verse 25. And God and the Lords saluted Jehovah before the hosts of heaven, and they stood apart a little distance, and Etizii said, Behold, all light Jehovah, behold, the all light, or the great creator. And she calls him the all light. Behold, the all light Jehovah encompassed me. My voice shall be his voice by the glory of faith in him. And I said it wrong. By the glory of faith in him am I one with the Father. And a flea, so she was submitting herself to the Father like prophets do, where they're overshadowed and he begins to speak through them. Okay. And a fleece of golden hue descended from above and encompassed Etizii around about. And she was like a central star with rays of light emanating. She was entranced by Jehovah. Through her the Creator spake, saying, My son, even God, I brought thee forth out of corpore, quickening into life everlasting. By faith I inspired thee to do whatsoever thou hast done. Faith gave I unto thee, as the tree whereupon all perfection is the fruit. By that faith within man that nurtureth the I am within himself unto perfection, becometh he my son, doing by virtue of my presence. According to thy wisdom and love have I given thee strength, and by thy strength raised thee up. Behold, this day have I given thee a kingdom in atmosphere, and made thee God before all the kingdoms of heaven. This place shall be thy place, and mine also. Here shalt thou dispense wisdom and laws, and appoint officers in my name, and by virtue of my power. And thy kingdom shall be like two kingdoms, one here with the hosts of heaven, and one on the earth, even over these thy lords. For thou art the judgment seat and creator of order over the whole earth, and in the heaven belonging to the earth. Stretch forth thy hand, my son, and clothe thyself in the golden fleece. God made the sign and then raised his hands upward, saying, Jehovah. So remember, Jehovah and God are two separate people. God is the president. Let's just call him the president of the earth, or the ruler of the earth, the captain, the HNIC here, right? The head person in charge. And Jehovah is the creator. Okay. I know y'all not getting mixed up, but just in case somebody new came in, you know. Okay. God made the sign and then raised his hands upward, saying, Jehovah, Jehovah, by thy command I call thee to array me in thy golden fleece. Behold, I am thy son. And the archangels tossed up the raiment and regalia they had bought from their Etherian ark in Aji. And by the faith that was in God, the substance flew to him and encompassed him around in raiment of the upper heaven. Then Jehovah spake to the lords, saying, As God hath built a kingdom in Horeb, and reigned over this heaven, and over ye and your helpmates, so shall ye build kingdoms on the earth, and ye shall rule over mortals. Yes, baby
Where
girl.
did God go after?
Nowhere just yet.
You said you go to one of these tubs.
Yeah, I probably do need to go get that. So you can go with me, yes. Then Jehovah spake to the lords, saying, As God hath built a kingdom in Horeb, and reigneth over this heaven, and over ye and your helpmates, so shall ye build kingdoms on the earth, and ye shall rule over mortals in my name, teaching them of me and my everlasting kingdom in the firmament above. In testimony of my voice, receive ye this raiment of silver and gold from my archangels. The archangels then draped the lords in shining raiment, and Entizii came down from the throne, still entranced, saying, Though my daughter Entizii will raise up in the flame of fire, yet will I, even Jehovah, abide with thee, O God, and with, hold on, let me go back. Okay, clearly, this looked like this when Jesus was taken up. Hold on. And everybody, look, why ye, no, that was when they came out of the tomb. Look, okay, so it was in the book of Acts, where when he was taken up, they watched him. Listen, that's what I just thought about while reading this. Okay, 36. Though my daughter, Entizii, will raise up in the flame of fire, yet will I, even Jehovah, abide with thee, O God, and with ye, my lords, now and forever. And then Entizii took God's hand and led him to the center of the throne, saying, Sit thou on this throne, for it is thy father's kingdom in the lower heaven of the earth. When God sat down, the entrancement departed from Entizii, and the light of Jehovah went and settled upon God and the lords. Oh, the flame of fire upon the disciples. Okay, I'm just thinking. Okay. When God sat down, the entrancement departed from Entizii, and the light of Jehovah went and settled upon God and the lords. But Entizii sat down at the foot of the throne, and thereupon all the archangels sat down also. And God said, Behold, she that is greatest maketh... Listen to this. God said, Behold, she that is greatest maketh herself least of all. Arise, O daughter of Jehovah, and enjoy my kingdom, for it is Jehovah's also. And God came down from the judgment seat and took Etiziai's hand, and she rose up, whereupon God proclaimed the freedom of the hour. Thus was established the first throne of God in these heavens, and now all of the hosts mingled together, angels and archangels joyfully. Very interesting. Chapter 2. When the hour was ended, God again ascended to the throne, and the marshals raised the signals of order, and the archangels went and stood in a crescent in front of the throne. Etizii sat at the feet of God, and the splendor of her glory, unadorned, save with white and yellow drapery, shone through all the talents Jehovah had given her, the perfection of purity, wisdom, and love, the like of which only gods had looked on. God said, In thy name, O Jehovah, do I now found the session of thy kingdom in the lower heaven. As long as man and woman shall bring forth heirs unto thee, this kingdom shall not cease to glorify thee. Let the lords approach the throne. The Isinars now sang, and in the meantime the marshals and escorts conducted the lords before the throne. When they were in order, the music ceased, and God said, 5 great divisions of the earth there are, and I have ordained ye the 5 lords thereof in Jehovah's name. According to the number of inhabitants of all the earth's divisions, in your relative rank before heaven have I placed you. When ye have seated yourselves in your respective kingdoms, ye shall each have 12 messengers, whose duties shall be betwixt ye and me. Choose ye therefore your messengers, even this hour, that ere the resurrection of the archangels, they may be confirmed in their registry borne to heaven above. The lords chose their messengers, and they were confirmed in the name of Jehovah, and the swift messengers who ply with the upper heavens made a record of their names and places. Thereupon God said to them, according to your talents have you been chosen. According to your excellence will ye be promoted to wider fields of labor. May the wisdom, love, and power of Jehovah be with you all. Amen. And now Etizai signified that her time of departure had arrived. Audrey, shalom. Listen. And now Etizai signified that her time of departure had arrived. God came down from the judgment seat, and standing one moment in sorrow, reached forth and took Etizai's hand, saying, Arise, O daughter of Jehovah, and go thy way. Etizai rose up, pointing upward, said, My house is in the ark of Wan. Jehovah dwelleth with thee and me. My swift messengers shall come to thee at times. My love will abide with thee and thy lords, and the harvest of thy. Let me start over. Etizai rose up, pointing upward, said, My house is in the ark of Wan. Jehovah dwelleth with thee and me. My swift messengers shall come to thee at times. My love will abide with thee and thy lords, and the harvest of thy resurrection in Jehovah's name. Farewell. I just thought about something. Remember how when we were reading in the Lost Book of Enki, right? Remember how Enki went to go tell Ziasudra, which was Noah, that listen, you need to prepare this ship because this earth is about to be flooded, right? So remember when Enki first got the message. Enki got a message from a messenger whom he thought was sent by Anu, right? Or Anu. Anu would be the god of the earth, right? So where's the other one at? Okay, so Anu, in this sense, as we're understanding everything now, had the term of God, right? So Anu was the god. Enki and Enlil and I forget his daughter's name already. They were the lords, right? But also sons, but they was like bloodborn, if you want to say bloodborn sons, but they were also like lords as well. Anyway, the whole point of saying that was, remember when Enki first got the message, before he went to Noah, Ziasudra would be like, I ain't talking to you, Ziasudra. I'm talking to the reed bush, because he couldn't tell him directly what the messenger had told him. There was a messenger who showed up in a vision to Enki. Enki thought he was dreaming, but he was trying to figure out who this messenger were. I'm talking, the whole point is this particular messenger. And he went to Anu, and he told him about him, and Anu said, that's not one of ours. Like, we don't know him, but it sounds like somebody from another planet or whatever. That person, I believe, is in this portion of the story. I hope I said that right. Okay, so we learn about the earth, right? And then we learn about the gods ruling the earth, right? But then we learn about those who are higher than the gods and the rulers of this earth. The guy who came to Enki was in that higher class with the creator, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. If y'all was there while we was reading through it. Okay, I'm just trying to bring the pieces together. Okay, I'll go back. Etizai rose up, pointing upward, said, My house is in the ark of Wan. Jehovah dwelleth with thee and me. My swift messengers shall come to thee at times. My love will abide with thee. I.e., when it said, My swift messengers shall come to thee at times, that guy who came to Enki was like one of that higher class where she was in the ark of Wan, right? Or the higher class of over the gods of the earth, the gods and lords of the earth. Okay. My swift messengers shall come to thee at times. My love will abide with thee and thy lords, and the harvest of thy resurrection. In Jehovah's name, farewell. Etizai then walked to the ship of fire, but ere she entered, she turned and took one more look at the host of Horrid, and then stripping from the frames luminous drapery, cast it playfully over the Isinars and quickly disappeared into the light. The Isinars chanted, and the host of archangels joined in with them, and in that same moment of time, the ship began to rise, and it was as thousands of columns of fire surrounding one majestic column, and the whole circle raising in spiral form, turning and rising, rising and turning. And when it was a little way up, it seemed like an ascending sun, and then higher and higher, like a far-off star, and then it passed beyond the vision of the angels of Horrid. When order was proclaimed, all the light began to gather around about the throne. The all light. Okay. When order was proclaimed, the all light began to gather around the throne, covering over God and the lords. Jehovah, through God, said, Hear ye, for I abide also with thee, my lords of the hosts of heaven. The lords said, What shall we do? And Jehovah answered, Summon all the angels to pass before the throne of God, one by one, that I may judge them. For as many as dwelt on any of my corporal worlds of the fifth of the second rate, and of after the second rate it has the letter B, which says the fifth of the second rate means 2 3/5 years old. The full of the first rate is infants under 2 3/5 years, who maturing in heaven remember nothing of their corporal lives. 1882 edition. I'll read it again. The fifth of the second rate means 2 3/5 years old. The full of the first rate is infants under 2 3/5 years old, who maturing in heaven remember nothing of their corporal lives. Edition 1882. Okay. I should have kept my place. Hold on. Oh, okay, I found it. The Lord said, What shall we do? And Jehovah answered, Summon all the angels to pass before the throne of God, one by one, that I may judge them. For as many as dwell on any of my corporal worlds of the fifth and the second rate shall abide in the kingdom of Horrid, and their labor shall be with Ezians only. But all of the full of the first rate shall abide in the kingdoms of my lords, and their labor shall be with corporans, or the humans. The marshal then arranged the angels, and they passed in front of the throne. And so great was God's wisdom that in looking on the angels as they passed, he perceived the rates of every man and woman. And those destined for labor in atmosphere only, he caused to turn one way, and those for the earth, as ministering spirits with mortals, to turn the other way. And when they had all passed, they were correctly divided according to Jehovah's commandment. God said, Hear me, O ye lords, take your laborers and repair to your respective places on the divisions of the earth and the waters of the earth, and ye shall be lords with me, your God, for the glory of Jehovah. Whatsoever ye do on earth will I ratify in heaven. Whomsoever ye deliver from the earth will I receive in heaven. As ye shape and build up mortal man, delivering his spirit into my kingdom, so will I receive him and award him. That your kingdoms may accord with me and mine, I give you messengers sufficient, and they shall pass daily betwixt us, according to their proficiency and power, to pass from place to place. So have I chosen them. Let a record be kept within your own kingdoms, and these records shall be your own, to be carried upward with you in the next resurrection. So remember, the resurrections are the time spans when they can enter, whether the resurrections are at the end of a ruling of the current ruling of gods, that current class of gods that's ruling, right? So it's called a resurrection, or let's just not change the terms. We'll call it a resurrection, or the changing of the guard. That's what I was looking for, the changing of the guard. Okay. Let a record be kept within your own kingdoms, and these records shall be your own, to be carried upward with you in the next resurrection. And yet ye shall have a record jointly with me, separate from your own record, pertaining to your kingdom's relations with mine. When mortals die, which makes sense why, look, y'all, this makes sense. And I'm going to pause after this chapter right here before we start chapter 3 within this book, so we can move over to the meditation book. It makes sense to me in my dreams now. Every time there is somebody in there that I perceive to be a heavenly messenger, or somebody who actually resides in the unseen realm, they always have a clipboard. They're always writing something down, literally, right? So this makes sense to where while they're the lords, they're ruling. We call them angels, but they're clearly the lords of the God that's currently ruling, right? And they're taking notes, just like in the kingdom. You're keeping track of everything that happens during your reign, right? And you take it back to the king. So when their rule is up, they got all the notes, everything that's transpired throughout this time of their ruling the kingdom, and they take it back and they add it. Well, they have a copy for Jehovah, right? The great spirit, but they also keep a copy for themselves, right? So it makes some things make sense in some of my dreams and visions that I've had with recording of things, and even it's called the Akashic records, right? The Akashic records. Let a record be kept within your own kingdoms, and these records shall be your own, to be carried upward with you in the next resurrection. And yet ye shall have a record jointly with me, separate from your own record, pertaining to your kingdom's relations with mine. When mortals die and are born in spirit, ye shall receive them and enter them in your records as Essenes, signifying newborn in heaven. And for these Essenes is the S, right? The S's are ES are the spirits, right? They call them S. But the plural of S, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is Essenes, right? I know that not to be mixed up with the Essenes gospel. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I ain't went that far yet, but it could be, could not be. I don't know. But just for understanding here, Essenes is the spirits, like you left the flesh and now you're a spirit completely. All right. I mean, y'all get it. When mortals die and are born in spirit, ye shall receive them and enter them in your records as Essenes, signifying newborn in heaven. And for these Essenes ye shall provide temporary abodes, where they shall tarry, some for a few days, and some for the space of 1 year or more. Of their numbers and conditions ye shall inform me through the messengers, and I will send ships to bring them to my kingdom. Ye shall appoint Asaphs, whose office it shall be to receive Essenes from the Ashars. Remember, you got to go back to the book of Jehovah to get I'm going to have to do that. So we can take it along with us until we get it, the titles down. Hold on. Ashars they're like the helpers to the lords, like the king's ward and stuff. I got to get it. I'm I'm going to have to write it down and keep it beside me till I get it down to where when we come across it, I can keep reminding you what an Asaph is, and like I'm doing with the S and the gods and the lords. Okay. All right. Let me read that again. That was good. When mortals die and are born in spirit, ye shall receive them and enter them in your records as Essenes, signifying newborn in heaven. And for these Essenes ye shall provide temporary abodes, where they shall tarry, some for a few days, some for a space of 1 year or more. Of their numbers and conditions ye shall inform me through the messengers, and I will send ships to bring them to my kingdom. Ye shall appoint Asaphs, whose office it shall be to receive Essenes from the Ashars. While a mortal is alive on the earth, the Ashars shall abide with them, guarding them in the name of the Lord and in my name. But when he dieth, the Ashar shall deliver the Essene to the Asaph, saying, in Jehovah's name, receive thou this newborn spirit. He was my protege. For the good or evil in him, charge thou to me. Okay, all right. So the Ashars would be our guardian spirits, like our guardian angels. Okay, I'll write that down. Okay. But while a mortal is alive on the earth, the Ashars shall abide with him, guarding him in the name of the Lord and in my name. But when he dieth, the Ashar shall deliver the Essene to the Asaph, saying, in Jehovah's name, receive thou this newborn spirit. It reminds me like when you see in movies, when people die, or not even just in movies, when people die, those family members who come back, or those they recognize as family members waiting for them to take them up, those are the Asars, or the ones who are taking them back or taking them to where they're going to go. But when he dieth, the Ashar shall deliver the Essene to the Asaph, saying, in Jehovah's name, receive thou this newborn spirit. He was my protege. For the good or evil in him, charge thou to me. And the Ashar shall deliver up a record of the mortal life of the Essene, and the record shall be kept within your own kingdoms. And the Asaph shall take the Essene, saying, in Jehovah's name, receive I this newborn spirit. He shall be my protege according to the commandments of the Lord my God. He shall then take the Essene to the place to receive it, where it will have nurses and attendants according to its requirements. When the ships come to your kingdoms, the Asaphs shall deliver all the Essenes they have received, and my officers shall receive them and bring them to my place in heaven. When God had ended the instructions to the Lords answered, saying, we will be thy lords, O God, doing thy commandments for the glory of Jehovah our Father. God said, to each of you have I given a great division of the earth, and each division shall be named after you in its place. This then was the rank assigned, Whaga, WHAGA, and it has reference number 2. The 1882 edition used the name Whaga or Whaga, spelled WAGA or WAGGA, while the 1891 edition named it Whaga, WHAGA, consistently. All subsequent similar changes are not footnoted. This then was the rank assigned: Whaga, Pan, Jude, Asia, Thouri, America, Vohu, Africa, and Dis, Europe. I'm going to read that again, y'all. Hold on. We got the 5 divisions. We getting somewhere. Okay. The 5 divisions are Pan, Asia, America, Africa, and Europe. But, of course, their names. But I'll read it again just so you got that. All right. Verse 28 in chapter 2 says, this then was the rank assigned: Whaga, which is Pan, Jude, Jud, which is Asia, Thouri, which is America, Vohu, which is Africa, and Dis, which is Europe. That might be our title for today. And the lands were called after the names of the lords, and so entered into the books of heaven and horrid by command of God in the name of Jehovah. And the record of the great serpent showed the firmament of Timyi, Tem apostrophe yi, or Timyi in the third circuit of Sivorcum, and it has a reference letter C, which is, this verse has been the source of an interpretive debate. Prior editors seem to have believed that this verse meant that there had been nearly 3 Sivorcums to the solar system's existence, which, based on the years estimated for complete subgalactic orbit, would mean that the Earth's age would have been 13,172,000 years, according to the 1882 editor, or 9,470,000 years, according to the 1891 editor. The editors of this edition are convinced that the prior editors were wrong in both fact and interpretation. Elois Communications and Council have indicated, as a gardener allows a seed to germinate before actively cultivating it, so do the Etherian hosts allow new planetary systems to germinate on their own without interference during their formative years. While the planet is monitored and data is recorded during this phase, these files remain separate and distinct from any records pertaining to the planet's Etherian administration that will eventually follow. When the planet's environment is nearly ready to support human life, the Etherian administrators will begin a Sivorcum, and Sivorcum is C apostrophe VORK apostrophe UM. The Etherian administrators will begin a Sivorcum or 2 beforehand to actively oversee the planet's development and to cultivate its environment. In the case of the Earth, the formal Etherian administrative efforts began nearly 3 Sivorcums past, or a little less than 13.5 million years prior, close to the figure of the 1882 editor. Consequently, since formal oversight means formal record keeping, the verse reads, the record showed the firmament in the third circuit of recorded history under Etherian administration, not its overall existence as a planet. OAHSPE does not provide the complete recorded history, but only events during the current sum. The age of the Earth is actually about what current geological estimates have projected it to be, i.e., about 4.5 billion years old, or about 350 times older than the prior editor's estimates based on an erroneous assumption. Okay. We're going to go back here. Okay, verse 29. And we're going to verse 35, and then this ends, and we can go to the next one, the next book, meditation. And the record of the great serpent showed the firmament of Timyi in the third circuit of Sivorcum and Danha 24. When all was finished, the lords came and sat down at the foot of the throne, and the Isinars chanted a hymn of praise to Jehovah, and the entire multitude joined therein. When the hymn was ended, God rose up, standing amidst a sea of light, and raising both hands, saying, O Jehovah, almighty and everlasting, help thy servants in founding this thy kingdom for thy glory, peace, wisdom, and power. Then making a sign of Jehovah's name with his right hand, he came down to the foot of the throne, and taking the hand of Whaga, Lord of Whaga, he said, Arise, my son, and go thy way, and Jehovah will bless thee. I wonder what the sign of the Creator's name is that you can make with one hand. I'm going to look into this. I'm sure this might tell us somewhere down the road. At least I hope so. Arise, my son, and go thy way, and Jehovah will bless thee. Whaga rose up and stood aside, and then in like manner God raised the other four lords, and they stood aside also. The marshals filed past the throne, saluting, and after them the lords, saluting also, and after them came the Asaphs, and lastly the Ashars, and the procession was underway, passing off between the pillars of fire, which God's laborers had ornamented Horeb around about. This was the beginning of the first kingdom in the lower heaven, and the first of the reign of the lords on earth. And this is where we'll pause. It's not the end of the book. It's just the end of the second chapter in this book of Sothanes, son of Jehovah. It's getting good, y'all. All right. So let's hop over here to the meditation book we paused at the other day. We have 51 minutes. Okay, we'll get a little bit in. We'll talk about entropy. Okay. Page 46. The general principles of Shatu Neter, teachings presented in the Kamashan scriptures. And it's 14 of them. Number 1, the purpose of life is to attain the great awakening, enlightenment, know thyself. Number 2, Shatur Neter enjoins the Shedi, or spiritual investigation, as the highest endeavor of life. Like when you're researching, it's called doing Shedi, right? It's a spiritual investigation. I like that. We might use that as a title. I don't know. We'll see. Number 3, Shatu Neter enjoins that it is the responsibility of every human being to promote order and truth. Number 4, Shatu Neter enjoins the performance of selfless service to family, community, and humanity. Number 5, Shatu Neter enjoins the protection of nature. Number 6, Shatu Neter enjoins the protection of the weak and oppressed. Number 7, Shatu Neter enjoins the caring for hungry. Number 8, Shatu Neter enjoins the caring for homeless. Number 9, Shatu Neter enjoins the equality for all people. Lines up with the Torah so far, right? So the Torah lines up with it. Number 10, Shatu Neter enjoins the equality between men and women. They got that all chopped and screwed throughout different places, but we'll keep reading. Number 11, Shatu Neter enjoins the justice for all. Number 12, Shatu Neter enjoins the sharing of resources. Number 13, Shatu Neter enjoins the protection and proper raising of children. Number 14, Shatu Neter enjoins the movement towards balance and peace. All right, the forces of entropy. In the Tyrian religion, there is no concept of evil as conceptualized in Western culture. Rather, it is understood that the forces of entropy are constantly working in nature to bring that which has been constructed by human hands to their original natural state. The serpent Apep, or Apophis, who daily tries to stop Ra's boat of creation, is the symbol of entropy. This concept of entropy has been referred to as chaos by Western Egyptologists. Okay, so I'm about to show you this picture. This is Ra. Hold on, I wonder if y'all can both see it all at the same time. Okay, I think right there y'all can see it on both Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so this is Ra, and this is Ra's boat. And see this snake down here? This would be considered the force of entropy in life that's daily struggling against Ra's boat so he can make it through, right? This entropy is always there. It should constantly have you on your feet. You should always be alert and be paying attention, right? Remember, entropy are high walls. Low entropy is low walls. We want to get to the point of least resistance or low entropy so truth can flow in so you can grow. When entropy is high, you can't do as much, right? Fighting against that snake. The snake is dead and is probably getting the best of you at the moment, right? Okay. Above, Set protecting the boat of Ra. I'm sorry, I said this is the boat. I'm sorry. I should have looked at the picture better. This is Ra sitting on the throne. This is Set. Ra would be the king, right? Ra is sitting, this is his boat. This is Ra's boat. And this is Set. Set represents the lower nature, right? Constantly fighting against the flesh, all those things you got to deal with daily, anger, all those things. When it gets the best of you, the entropy is high. Okay. Above, Set protecting the boat of Ra from the forces of entropy, symbolized by the serpent Apep. As expressed previously in the Tyrian religion, there is also no concept of a devil or demon as is conceived in Judeo-Christian or Islamic traditions. Rather, it is understood that manifestations of detrimental situations and adversities arise as a result of unrighteous actions. These unrighteous actions are due to the Setian, Setian, Satan, or Set, Satian, just like you have, what you call it? It's using Satan as those, not, just like with the word for humans. I keep forgetting the names. Okay, so you got like Christ and Christ followers, like Christ and Christian. Same thing with Set, right? Is Satan, the representation of Set, S-E-T, the lower nature. But they changed the way the term is spelled and created a whole different character without bringing some of the principles which can clearly be understood. People now think it's an outside devil when it's really your own nature fighting against you. If you're going through the gateway process and learning how the mind works, when you sin, it's your own nature, your own consciousness that begins to bring the torture on yourself. What you think about will manifest in your life. There's not an outside nature or outside force coming against you. It's your own nature creating these based on your actions of righteousness or unrighteousness. I'll read this again. As expressed previously in the Tyrian religion, there is also no concept of a devil or a demon as is conceived in the Judeo-Christian or Islamic traditions. Rather, it is understood that manifestations of detrimental situations and adversities arise as a result of unrighteous actions. These unrighteous actions are due to the Satan qualities in a human being. Set is the netiru of egoism and the negative qualities which arise from egoism. Egoism is the idea of individuality based on identification with the body and mind only as being who one is. I read that again. Egoism is the idea of individuality based on identification with the body and mind only as being who one is. One has no deeper awareness of their deeper spiritual essence and thus no understanding of their connectedness to all other objects, includes persons in creation and the divine self. When the ego is under the control of the higher nature, it fights the forces of entropy as above. However, when beset with ignorance, it leads to the degraded states of human existence, the vices, egoism, selfishness, extrovertedness, wanton sexuality, lust, jealousy, envy, greed, gluttony are a result. And it has Set and the Set animal at the bottom. Set and the Set animal. And that, my beautiful people, yes, is a journey to self-mastery, Robin. And believe it or not, we're going to pause right here because we're right at the hour mark. That was just enough to fill up the hour because we at Monday morning and we got to be careful about our time during the week. All right, y'all. Yes, baby, I'm done. About to close it up.
I can end it.
Yeah, you can end it. What? I don't know what you got on your shirt, sis. I might let them see the top of your head. All right, beautiful people. It is Monday, April the 18th. What did you do? You turning the shirt around backwards? It is Monday, April the 18th, 2022. Day 85 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1103. We read the OAHSPE, pages 14. Girl, cough in your arm. Pages 14 to, hold on.
I like, Mom.
14
Mom.
to...
Mom, I hate drinking after people.
17, yeah, don't drink after people. You catch people germs. Okay, we read the OAHSPE pages 14 through 17, and we read the meditation book pages 46 and 47. All right, beautiful people, I hope y'all enjoyed it today. We right at the hour. Thank y'all for hanging out. She here to help end it. She done got some food on her shirt.
No, I mean lipstick.
Oh, that's what it is? Whatever. But anyway, she decided she'd clean it by turning it around. We don't practice that. We actually bathe and change our clothes, but, you know, she wanted to end the video today.
What?
All right, so how you want to end it? What? No, I mean, do you want to do the blessing or you just want to say bye to everybody?
Do the...
Back up, girl. Back up. All right, beautiful people. May y'all continue to bless us.
Say
and
bye.
Lead us and guide us in all truth. And may we grow not just in spirit, but also in truth on our daily journey to, like Robin said, on our journey of self-mastery as we connect with the great spirit, the creator of all, Yahuwah. All right, beautiful people. That's it. I see y'all back here tomorrow. Hey, guys. Hey. Anukia. Shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. We out here. See y'all tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead, girl.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, girl. Go ahead and end it. Finish. Very good. End.